Hello, Stephen here, and in this video for the DIY Musician Guide, I'm going to quickly show you how to add some music to your Instagram stories outside of Instagram using some video and audio editing software. Simple as. A while back, I made a video all about how to utilize sharing Spotify links to Instagram as stories and then using those stories as highlighted menu items, basically to show off your releases. I did it with my band Wired to Follow. I'll put a basic link to a YouTube playlist of all my Instagram videos and that below. I think if you'll find any of those helpful and this helpful, you'll find that playlist helpful. But anyway, I did that a while ago and it hit me recently where I was thinking, well, what happens if you don't have any music on Spotify and you still want to have your music in the background? Well, you've got this Spotify music sticker, but what happens if your music isn't even available through Instagram? So basically, I wanted to come up with an easy method where you could actually add your own music to like a video clip. So basically, I'm going to go through adding some music to an Instagram story image that you've created. Right, so jumping in here, this is basically what I want to do. I want to take this image from my Bandcamp release and turn that into an Instagram story with music behind it. So what I'm going to do is create an Instagram story image first in Canva. Now, if you haven't used Canva, I did do a video about this a while ago. And I'll link that below as well. It's a brilliant online image editing tool. It's fantastic. As you can see, I'll just quickly make an image for what I want to make. This is one I made earlier for my band, but I can use, I think I've got, yeah, there we go. Ooh, get rid of that. I think if I just drag it over, it just fills it. Brilliant, that's what I want to go after. And I'm going to lift this text up, and because it's actually called variants, so I'm going to rename that. And for this little subtitle, even though you can't link to it, I am going to put a link to my Bandcamp, like so. There you go. Maybe get rid of that trailing slash. I might make this a little bit bigger as well. Okay, so now we've got our image. We need to work on putting some music behind it, so we'll go into our video editing software. Okay, here we are in Final Cut, and I've already imported that Instagram cover I made in Canva before. You see, I'm going to make it a new project. Okay, new project. And this is so we can get the right size for the Instagram story, because the default one won't work. So we're going to go for custom in here. And just looking at my notes, it should be in 1080 times 1920. That's okay. Alright, okay, so I'm just going to rename this project here. Instagram music. That'll be right. Right, okay. So you can see the timeline here. I'm just going to throw this on the timeline. You can see that filtered it in perfectly. Basically, Instagram stories have a length of 15 seconds, so let's just make sure we're covering that. There's 21 there, so move it back, 15 seconds. There we go. Right, so now we have our video. We just need to go and add some music. So I'm going to jump over to Ableton now and grab 15 seconds of audio from one of my tracks. Okay, here we are in Ableton. I've already marked out 15 seconds of this track. Yep, that seems about right. So I am gonna cut this. There we go. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. And because I'm going to add some fades on each side, because it's going to end quite abruptly and start quite abruptly. So I'm just going to add a bit of fade here. Very slight. Not much at all. And then with this, selected, keep hitting that play button. Let's export that now. Okay, we're back, and I've just imported that track, as you can see here. So I'm just going to throw underneath here. Wait a minute, is that longer than 15 seconds? It looks it's like 28. Okay, that doesn't matter. We can just do the fade and everything in here. Leave it like that. As you see, it does say it's 15 seconds. No idea what I did there. Just playing it now to see what it's like. Okay. Still a bit abrupt there, so I'm gonna. That fade kind of matches that one now. Just one more go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I mean, I could have prepared that earlier, but you know, I wanted to do this quite live. Right, so we could export this video as is, and then maybe within Instagram put a little listen sticker somewhere, and that'll be perfectly fine. But I was thinking that we could try and add some kind of audio cue, like just have a bit of fun with it. Like, what else can we do to kind of, you know, give it a bit of motion to the video, kind of encourage someone who's looking at this story to know that there's some music there, so encourage them to want to press play and have a listen. So I was thinking of adding some kind of waveform, and there's multiple ways we could do this, but let's head to back to Ableton and have a look there. Okay, so here we are back in Ableton, and I've correctly configure this to be about 15 seconds. It might be 16 seconds, but it doesn't matter. So basically, you want some kind of visualization that I want to add to my Instagram story. So I was thinking of maybe adding this kind of EQ, this spectrum analyzer thing. So I've added an EQ8 here in Ableton, and I've taken all the EQs off. And if I press play now, you can see that it's jumping about, and I can't really get rid of this line, which it might not actually matter, but like, I'm gonna have a go anyway. So we start here, and basically what I want to do is record this section. So what I'm going to do, because I'm recording the screen at the moment, I will do it after the fact. When I go back over to Final Cut, I'll have already recorded that whole section. Saves you having to listen to the whole thing anyway. But anyway, back to Final Cut. Okay, so here I am back in Final Cut. As you can see, I've imported the waveform I've just made, this little video. So this little video, you can see it there. Kind of come into action when I press play. So what we want to do is throw this over here as a layer, and as you can see, we need to kind of sync it up. I mean, I'm not too bothered about like it syncing perfectly, because it's more just, you know, a visual clue really. So now we've got that there, and I'm kind of happy with the way it's synced up. It could be a lot better, but just for the purpose of this video, let's just move on from that. So it stacks out a bit, so what I want to do is kind of blend it in a little bit more. So I'm just going to decrease the opacity, the opacity, and just think about where I could put it. I mean, I could cover this whole window area if I wanted to by expanding it, but I like the idea of it just coming across these pedals here at the bottom. So what I'll do, I'll initially just move it over, and I will scale it up. And I'm going to lose some of it, obviously, some of the low end and high end, but as again, I don't really think many audio engineers are going to be looking at my Instagram story. Apologies if you are one. Let's say done on that. I might need to decrease. Okay, let's see what that looks like. I quite like that because it's kind of ghostly over the pedals. But anyway, let's just export this, and then we'll see about adding it to Instagram. Okay, here we are in Instagram, and I just opened a new story, and there's my story ready to go. And again, I could add listen. Let's have a look. This is where it is. Listen. So maybe it's called sound. Maybe. There we go. Sound on. So if we add this, we're going to add it to our story like so. It'll just be uploading by the looks of it. Let's highlight that. Add a new one and put music. So now we've got a place on our profile for all of our music. I'm just going to check it, because this makes sense if I put the volume up. But there you go, it's playing, and people will know that there's music playing, hopefully. imagine the possibilities, really. I just wanted to put across that you can add music to your Instagram stories, and you can potentially play around with how you can try and encourage people to, listen to it, which is the hardest thing for us musicians, isn't it? Getting people to actually, put their ears in front of something. So there's some other ways you could play with that. I mean, just with that graphic EQ in Ableton, that was the first thing that came to mind. But there are other kind of spectrum analyzers online that you could use, and also you don't have to just do it for one track. You could do one of these for each of the tracks in your album and highlight it all as one kind of Instagram menu item as well. You could have, instead of a EQ, you could have you performing the tracks instead, or just banging on a table anything to say, hey, listen to this. There's loads of kind of creative ways you can make that work. I just wanted to kind of put that up there because I only hit this idea today, and I thought, well, we need a way of encouraging more people to, there's music going on, because if we're not as visual as musicians, so we need to kind of embellish on the visual to kind of bring more people in. Anyway, that's my simple idea. Let me know what you get on. If you've got any other ideas what you can do with this as well. I did do a video a while ago on a similar thing called Turn, which was an amazing little project. I'll again link to that one on the bottom because I think that'll be of interest. It's very similar to this, but it does all for you on the fly. Anyway, if you want to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time for another video for this DIY musician guide playlist thing. See you later, guys.